Hello, it's a Mr. Jack Blackley special. To say Mr. Jack Blackley is to say reconnaissance into a share house, but it's not really the share house you believe it to be. You're the third opinion, like the fly on the wall. Now there's this nice man, a real nice man, and he's let himself into letting people in. Now this one's not as morbid as to say like flat shares, to where he was chopping them up in that, putting them into the actual meat and selling them around the world in that yuckies type of morbid stuff. It gets a bit gruesome, but it's not really that morbid. It's sort of where the man allowed these people in. And at start, day dot, the guy was real quiet and friendly, just like sucking the absolute ass out of the guy to stay at his place. Sucking the absolute ass out of him. And he turned around, and he's a couple of days into it, they're doing all this sort of house sitting, because the man who owned the house, he went on vacation. And he said, I'm going for a trip, I'm going with my friends, we're going all together, a big connective party, going to chill. You can feel free to sort of stay at my place, but respect my place. Don't sort of rip it off or don't do anything that I wouldn't do. Now, they must have thought I was a real idiot if I was going to be like that, to say the person who says, do something I wouldn't do. They must have thought it was a real joke for that person. Now, in the way it parlays and plays itself, this person who came in as a flat man, flat share, was like a real dirty crim. He'd been amongst it. He'd been the burglar. He'd been the person who would rip off identities. He'd rip your bank account off to be the bank account that would be the one that receives the money from a trucking company, that is paying it into an account that says that that is the account official. And where does the trace lead go back to for the actual $5,000 a month fuel payment, which is not really that much diesel in a big truck? To say it's an instant payment that just goes out of their inventories, pay lists every month, as they do it for their quarterly BAS, for their business. And anyway, the person's turned around and he's done just that, to rip off the person. But if you're familiar with the Manson case of America, I don't know if I'm saying it or spelling it Maisien, or it was like that before it came into the actual understandings of it. But they would just say MANSON. Simple. They would say it like Manson. They say he was a this or that, but he moved in with a guy in the American industry of entertainment. And this is where Manson thought he was going to become entertainment, some kind of spectacular deluxe. But it just didn't work for the bloke. And you look at that job file to how it sort of works, sort of counteracts itself on this, like taking on the job file in the way of a little look back in the lab of the actual reconnaissance to see the opinion of a furtherment to what we're talking about is very similar. Part of a death cult, some whole religious movement of psychos who were saying they were oh so nice and godly, and they were just a bunch of con men that were looking to fucking rip shit off and do the dirty stuff, which ended up turning around in this conundrum to get the actual understandings of, we'll say, Jacques in the job file to take it on, gets him killed. So they think, so Manson thinks, so it just finishes it off. There's no understandings of Manson's for furthermore. He's like, yes, I've killed that one. So it never exists for furthermore. So in the way he's sort of living at the place, you find the basis, like we're 4 minutes in, I've got to tell you what's up. He moves in flat measures, so like the Manson case, moves into the guy's place. Guy's place is lavish luxury. Goes away on a holiday trip, right? The guy turns around from that, invites people over like it's his place. Telling people, like girls, like the guy's a man. He's like, bring girls over. But you see, the lounge is a $5,000 lounge. And they're real tight on cash in that place. They haven't got very much. The people that he's associated with to try and bring in to falsify it. And like, it's got a grandfather clock that's sitting there at $5,500 just for the timepiece, which in that the job file was to make sure it disappeared because he thought it'd make a dirty bomb out of it, to get it to retractably unwind to make the gigahertz to set off a bomb explosion of its own descent. Like, it's a kind of dirty, crappy bomb military. They hack into the computer and they found out different things. But it sort of goes into how he fucked him up at the end and killed him. He has all this stuff. He's living there, right? He's only paying the littlest bit of rent compared to everyone else at the place because the place is like, the guy is his heart, mate. The guy's ticker. His heart. He's absolutely huge. The loveliest guy you'll ever meet in your life. This man who's allowed the Manson factor in. And he's allowed it, right? And to do the dog, the trick, the dirty. It's gone on for furthermore. He's ripping his identity. He's tried to put the bank details like on the dots. So far we've done that. He's turned around, right? He's let him in. He's gone on the holiday. He's let the other people in to where the Manson dude is like in there. He's let the door open to all these other people. Tried to say he's a real rich, kind of extravagant kind of person. He abused his actual lifestyle of like how the guy lived in his room. Like his bed. Like he abused his master bed, his cupboards, his little drawer. Like I know it's not much, but to that guy we're talking about is huge because he's like a street trash kid that just come from nothingness. You couldn't even understandably get a look back on him to say where he's from, locos or family history or anything. But then the thing is, at the end, the guy says he will take it all because he'd been ripping the identity, ripping the information. And he's like, all right, the time is now. And the thing is, the person, the biggest heart in the world goes out to him. He's a real clean person. And he makes this chemical to clean the walls. And it's a bit of a chemical that's like bleach and it's like baking soda and a few other things that turn around. And you can pretty much put in a spray bottle, spray the walls, and it turn around and melt off all the stuff because it's a heavy smoker. You know what I mean? He's a heavy smoker. It's why Jacques can play the part in the piece because heavy smoker, you know what I mean? And he's gone to clean the walls, right? But the fucking stooge, oh, excuse my French, fuck the Frenchman, yes? Hey, excuse me. The guy has tried to turn around and literally put a chemical bomb in the actual containment for the actual chemical cleaner. Like gases so potent, like strychnine type, arsenic type thing, that finished him off. And that's where this little short story turned tale of savagery. We're in the deep undercover in that position. But the thing is, Mr. Jack Blackley already had Jacques in that on the reconnaissance. He was just supposed to move in, but real limited on what he got to understand because this person's like supposedly connected, but it's not. It's just like how it is. Very limited. Move to a location in a way like just turn up into the actual piece. He's started playing like made real similarities to what he does, how he get around the day. And the person tried to kill him. We did kill him. In the actual thing, Jacques drops. He's there with one of his girls. Because the guy, like the Jacques part I pay, like to play it, he's got a few girls that's going well. Like real well. And he turned around and he's gassed him in his own place. It's so hectic. The guy's like, falls on the ground dead. But as far as Jacques know, in the actual play, the actual part that Mr. Jack Blackley had him, he cleaned the place up, made it Mickey Mouse, smick and span, like Disney on Ice type of getting the deluxe specials. And the way that Manson saw it, he thought he'd won the lotto, turn up from work, because he was a worker, like he had to do the truck company, but to say was a dirty man. Real dirty, like slime ball. Every shower that he ever got into turned into dirty black mold. And he can't work out why. And it happened at the actual place. It was why the chemical cleaner had to be used, because the guy's so filthy. Black mold would occur every single place he would go into because he's just an absolute... I couldn't explain, but 10 minutes in, you sort of get the drift. Hectic story. One of the pieces that explain it, that go into it, I'm writing it down. I'm making these movies, right? The AI movies on the stuff like him, myself, and the world of movies. To say AI movies that have come up is actually where he tried to steal it, because the guy in that, the Hollywood style, it's similar. It's very similar. The guy writes stories, writes this. Sort of base it like he tried to kill me myself, and I've taken it personal to make it a... This is a nothing. The guy's nothing. I don't give a shit. Just a job file that I laugh at. A toy. Toy. A toy puppet who thought he could become someone else, and it was supposed to be the most horrific thing, and he was this and that. It's a shit go. I laughed at it. You know what I got down the street? But Spanian, he parks his truck down there, charges up at my charge station. Get some kebab on. He's always refilling the truck at that. Para Road, mate. Parramatta. Just around the corner from Canadian Bay. Or Canada Bay. Concord. To say where my street is for those fans that know my stuff. That's pretty cool, but anyway, that's a bit of bang. It's a bit of bang for buck. It's not really much of a job file. Tries to make it personal. It's just another one that plays out with myself. There's a few bridge jumps and a few other things getting amongst it, but it's like a recap on the dickhead for trying to stooge, and he's just a Toy. A toy. Like, I grew up with the street arts. I got these puppet toys. They tried to say they were me, myself, to different people, and the people already knew me. They're like, who are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, bro, I was this mad grapher back in the day. Like, you just choose anyone. He's fucking stupid, but hectic stupid cunts. That's to say, like, I wasn't even a mad grapher. Shit graph. Terrible. Hey, anyway, 12 minutes of your time. Thanks for holding up the fort and sticking on the phone to what's up. I am not a crook. Jacques Marceau, there you go. So you know, big go. Up the blow. In your ear hole. Yee yee.